Mind-boggling and devastating. Two phrases to describe the Oilers' starts to games in this Cup final so far. Cheryl, the Oilers have been outscored 11-4 in the first periods in the series. A ridiculous 7-0 in the first over the last 3 games alone. Okay, Cheryl, who's to blame? And what's the fix before it's too late?
Well, first of all, let's just talk about when you are getting off to a good start. What does that mean, Gino? And for me, that is the team that can get to their style of play first. And clearly right now, the Florida Panthers are finding a way to get on the forecheck right away in the game. And now all of a sudden it looks like they're faster than the Edmonton Oilers. And I don't believe that for a second. But when you're back and you are on your heels, that's exactly what is happening down below the goal line, along the wall. And they're taking that away. So they're winning the board play. And if you're going to play along the boards, you are not going to win against the Florida Panthers, who are committed. They're putting that puck in deep. You know what's happening right away. They're going to establish that heavy forecheck. And there is a responsibility around the players off puck getting to that next point where they know that they can close quickly. It might be a deactivating on a pinch. And so your forward, even getting that puck on the wall, is saying to themselves, I better get this out. And they can't get it out. So now all of a sudden you are under pressure in your own zone. And clearly the Florida Panthers are taking advantage of that. So for me, the Edmonton Oilers have to find a way to get creative on their exits. You have to play with a little bit of freedom, which is really difficult to do. What does that mean? They might have to pop it to the middle of the ice. They don't want to be in the board battle, but they've got to trust everyone off the puck are in the right spots and that they're connected so they can reestablish their speed, because they're taking away the neutral zone as well because of it. They have to find a way. So that's the first point, Gino. The second point for me is the power play. If you have a power play opportunity in the first period, they have got to find a way to get to different options. They can't just be looking for Draisaitl or Bouchard up high. They have to pull that formation away to one side of the ice, move that puck quickly, have a high player, and find a way to get real nice looks on net. Right now, they're not doing that, and because of it, they're finding themselves behind the 8 ball to start games.
All right, to the goaltending now. Calvin Pickard came in after Skinner got pulled in Game 4 to save the day, win an OT. But he gave up 4 on only 18 shots last game to take the loss. Just his first loss of these playoffs. Knobloch won't tell us who he's going to start for Game 6. So, Cheryl, what should he do?
Stuart Skinner. And I've been asked this question over the course of the playoffs. Do you think that Calvin Pickard can go in and then Stuart Skinner can come back in? And yeah, the answer is simply yes. Both goaltenders have a sub-900 save percentage. And yeah, they're staring across at Bobrovsky, who's a 912. But more importantly, the team hasn't played well in front of either one of them, especially in Game 3 and Game 5. So now you go to Stuart Skinner. Why do you go to Stuart Skinner? Well, because I do think his trajectory, his upswing, certainly can find a way to steal a game. You also look no further than last year. They had to ward off elimination in Game 4, in Game 5, in Game 6 to even get to Game 7. And who was between the pipes in those games getting those wins? It was Stuart Skinner. So now there's familiarity there. But let's make no question, no qualms about it here, Gino. He has to be great. He has to be excellent. I don't think he came out of the game in game number 4 because he wasn't good. I think he wasn't great. There had to be a change to light a fire underneath the team. Right now, he has to come up with a timely save. Right now, he has to steal. He can't just make the save he needs to. He needs to steal one. So if he can be great, I think that the Edmonton Oilers can get this back to Edmonton for Game 7.
All right, fair enough. Brad Marchand and Sam Bennett have combined for 11 goals through the first 5 games of the Stanley Cup Final, dramatically affecting the way they're forever going to be viewed as playoff performers. Connor McDavid, the best player in the game today. If he can figure out a way to lead his Oilers back to win this series, what does that do to his personal legacy?
Do you know, I think his personal legacy is around the Holy Grail, getting his name on that cup, regardless of what he does. Now, we know that him and Leon Draisaitl have to be outstanding in Game 6, right? We know that your best players have to be your best players. But let's give a little credit to the Florida Panthers, shall we? I mean, you look at their lines 1 through 3, if you could even call them that. They're like 3-line ones right now. So now all of a sudden he is up against, he doesn't get a good matchup. There is no good matchup for Connor McDavid. He might go end to end. He might break Ekblad's ankles and he might score, and it may not be enough, right? When he's in the offensive zone, he's drawing coverage to him. He may be able to dish to someone, one of his flanks, and guess what? They're going to have to be the ones to seal the deal. So I'm going to take this to a team collective right now. now. Yeah, you've got the best 1-2 punch in the world, but they are going to need some help. They're going to need to be great. But the guys who are going to get the 1 touch and the 2 touch in their own zone to give them the speed, the pace to transport through the neutral zone, they have to be on point. They have to be fearless in terms of trying to get those pucks into the hands of Connor McDavid and Draisaitl. If they can do that, if they can find a way to get into the offensive zone, you know that the Barkovs of the world, they're going to lair Connor McDavid. They're going to try and take away lanes with their stick. So those players who are aligned with Connor McDavid, whether it's the D, whether it's the forwards, they're going to have to get to pockets on the ice where he can get the puck to them. So yes, I think this is absolutely legacy in terms of Game 6, bringing it back home for a Game 7. But at the end of the day, he's got to get his name on the cup. And how do you do that? You do that as a team. He's got 33 points right now. He won the Conn Smythe last year, Gino. So there's no question that this guy can bring it when the game and the lights are the brightest that they ever have been. It's the entire group has to find a way to beat the depth of the Florida Panthers. It ain't going to be easy, but they're going to have to score more than 2 goals to do it.
Okay, Knobloch all but guaranteed an Oiler win and comeback. He said, win our last 2 games. We're confident we can do that. We've been through difficult situations before, and it's just another one we will overcome. So, Cheryl, are those just the words of a coach trying to convince his team they still have a shot? Or is he right? Have you seen enough from this group to make you believe the Oilers can come back and win the next 2?
Look at their comebacks over the course of the playoffs. I mean, traditionally, their period 2s, their period 3s, with the goaltender out when they're trying to claw their way back to overtime, they can do it. You know, this group has the speed. They've got the pace. They've got the tenacity. And certainly Chris Knobloch believes in the group. And, you know, as an athlete who's been in some, real adverse situations, what you believe in that locker room is everything. I mean, we're outside noise, right, Gino? We're the outside noise. What do you believe in that room? And they've got the Corey Perrys of the world that have already stood up and talked. They've got the Connor McDavids and the Leon Draisaitl's have been there before, and they want this. You can feel the energy through the television when you're watching these games. It's got to be a collective. It's not going to be easy. They have not faced a pressure like the Florida Panthers forecheck. I mean, that wasn't the Dallas Stars, right? They've got to figure out a way to beat it. Do I think it can happen? Absolutely, I do. And I think the other side, right, they've been there before. You don't get to 3 Stanley Cup finals in a row if you don't know how to weather the storm. So the toughest games to come are the games that lie ahead of the Edmonton Oilers. But I think that they're going to dig in for the push here. I mean, they're fighting for a Stanley Cup. It's all going to be on the line. But I also think it's going to be specialty teams. They got to find a way to strike with the man advantage.
Just how tough a task are the Oilers facing right now? They're trying to become the first team in 70 years to force back-to-back Game 7s in a Stanley Cup final rematch.